Today we are talking about the things you should not do in FC25 career mode. These things that I will talk about today are going to be based on my experience playing career mode. To me, there's just some things that are not worth doing in this mode. Hopefully this helps you out. If you do enjoy the video, please leave a like for me and make sure you subscribe for more FC25 tips and tricks. The first thing you should not do in career mode is start a new save without downloading the latest squad update. This literally is one of the first things you'll see on the menus of career mode. The game lets you download the latest squad update. You can use current squads or you can use initial squads, which is basically the squads that come with the game when it ships on day one. Now there might be reasons why you would want to use initial squads or current squads, especially if you've created players. But for the most part, if you're going to do a serious save, you might as well just download the latest squad update to make sure all the latest transfers are applied and that the latest attributes are applied as well. Every week EA does release new squad updates, so make sure you're always downloading the latest one. The next thing you should not do in career mode is play as a real manager that has a fake face in the game. Everyone knows you can create a new manager or play as a real manager, but there comes a time where you just should not consider using a real manager, and that is when they have fake faces. It makes sense to pick a manager that has a real face, of course, because you get the whole experience. You get the real name, you get also the manager face, and it feels like you're using the authentic manager, you know, there's no issues with that. But let's say you wanted to use Gattuso or any other manager that doesn't have a real face in the game. You don't get the full experience. I feel like there's no point. You just get basically a licensed name, but look at the face. It looks nothing like Gattuso. So to me, there's no point. I feel like if you're going to pick a manager that has a fake face, you might as well just create your own person. If they look the part, then of course go ahead and use them. But if they've got generic faces, it just doesn't look right. Another thing you should not do in career mode is play the gameplay with the classic setting on. The classic setting is basically the high intensity FC experience that we all know and love. The chaotic gameplay, the super fast gameplay. Leave this setting for the Ultimate Team people. What you want to do instead is play on simulation mode, which is going to be a slower sim style experience that is closer to what you'd see in a live football match. So far in career mode, I've only used the simulation gameplay type. I haven't really played much on the classic, so I feel like, yeah, this would be a waste of time if you're looking for that slower sim-style experience. And career mode is an offline mode. You probably should be playing on simulation instead. Another thing you should not do in career mode is ignore the board objectives. Literally one of the first things that comes up in the task list is review board objectives. Click on that, and this is what you need to pay attention to, because if you don't, there is a higher chance of you getting sacked. If you play with the no sacking feature on, then you don't really have to worry about any of this stuff because you won't get sacked regardless. But if you don't use that setting, then this is very important, especially that manager rating there. You want to keep it in the green. The lower it goes, the higher your chance of getting sacked. When you start, spend some time reading up on the different types of objectives. So for Real Madrid, we have to win the cup and also the league title. And then there's also youth development, which is critical. Brand exposure as well, and then there's also low financials as well. So you shouldn't really ignore the board objectives. Another thing you should not do in career mode is ignore the youth academy. Some people can't be bothered with the youth academy because either there's not much to do with the players or the players take too long to grow, so you prefer to sign better overall players already. But the youth academy can be a good way to save money because you don't have to spend money on transfer fees. It's still something you should not ignore when you start your save because there could be a hidden gem here, a nice talent that you might have missed. Some might turn into flops, but you might get one or two players that really shine and you can sell them for massive money one day. This year you can play rush matches with your youth team so you can develop the players through rush. Another thing you should not do is ignore the tactical presets. This is another thing that comes up straight away on your task list. You click on it and you get started through here. So if you don't do anything, it's going to stay on standard. This means that your team will take a balanced approach to the game, focusing on maintaining a shape which will help you stay strong defensively while still offering a threat going forward. This might not be the way you want to play though, so definitely spend some time here and read through each one. You might want to play with the Gegenpress or park the bus, counter attack, kick and rush. So just read through them, see what you like. Another thing you should not ignore as well is the coach management. Hiring coaches is a very easy way to develop your players. You can boost them up with the more coaches you have. Ideally, you want to hit those stars that say ideal there. I believe if you pre-ordered the game, there should be a 5-star coach here, but unfortunately I do not see that here, so hopefully EA hasn't, by mistake taken this feature out. I should have a 5-star coach there. But anyway, do not ignore this because it's very important. The more coaches you have, the more it's going to boost your players and they level up quicker. And while we're here, there's also one other thing you should not do in career mode, and that is put the coaches in the wrong spots. So we've got this coach here, Rivero. He's got 3 attacking stars, 2 midfield, 1 defense, and 1 goalkeeper star. It wouldn't make sense to put him as a goalkeeper coach because we're only getting 1 star out of him. That's something you shouldn't do. What you want to do instead is go to the department where he has the most stars. In this case, it's 3 stars for the attack. Click on that and set that up there. We've got a 4-star defensive coach here, but if we do something silly and put him as an attack coach, we're only going to get 1 star out of him. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. This is something you shouldn't do. And another thing you should not do in this coach management section is hire coaches that do not share the same tactical preset as the one you're running with. So in this case, we're using the Gegenpress. You can tell by the icon there. We've got some coaches here that do not use the Gegenpress tactical vision. So this one wouldn't. This one as well. These two do, you can see that, and even this one here. So ideally you want to hire the people or the coaches that share the same vision as you. So keep that in mind while you're doing coach management as well. One thing you should not do in career mode is ignore the training plans as well. You want to open up the training and get this sorted out. If you don't do anything, I believe it stays on a balanced plan. But the problem with the balanced plan is that you find that your starting 11 players might have lower fitness levels and a lot of sharpness. And then you'll find the players that don't play much, like your subs and reserves, they might have a lot of fitness because they're not playing, but low sharpness. These are some quick presets here that you can select from. If you want to do a more manual approach, just hit the R1. You can do each individual player. So for starting 11 players who usually get a lot of game time, you might want to focus on their recovery more than performance. I usually put it on something like energy focused, and then I press the triangle button and I apply that to the starting 11, and then I just monitor it to see if they're actually recovering enough without losing too much sharpness. You got to be careful here as well because you don't want them to lose too much sharpness. If there's players on the bench or in the reserves, what you want to do is probably have a more performance focused plan for them. So maybe start with performance focused, or you can go all the way out to all out. Press the triangle once again and apply that for the subs and reserves, and that should be pretty much it there. Just keep an eye on it and see if it's working for your players. You don't want them to lose too much sharpness, but you also don't want them to not recover enough. Another thing you should not do in career mode is negative responses in press conferences. It might be more realistic to give negative responses at times because maybe the player's not playing well or the team's not doing well. But obviously you have to think of the player's morale. Ideally, you want to use this feature to your advantage. This is a very cheap and easy way to boost up player morale. Keep in mind, you don't want to encourage the players too much. Their morale meter goes all the way to complacent now this year, which is not good. You want to keep it at very happy or happy. What you have to do is just check for those positive responses. They do have an icon there, so you can tell pretty easily. Vasquez goes up to very happy now. If we keep doing it too many times though, he might go to complacent. So we do have to keep that in mind and then just give negative responses if that occurs. That's pretty much the only time I would encourage negative responses in press conferences. Another thing you should not do in career mode is give negative replies in the player conversation section. This is similar to what I said in the press conference part of the video. You want to pump up your players' morale. You do not want to do those negative replies unless their morale is already at complacent and you need to bring it back down to very happy or happy. That's the only time I would recommend a negative reply here. But in this case with Camavinga, we can actually just give him a positive reply and that boosts up his morale a little bit. Thank you to my Vapex FC channel members Chris, Callum, Wing and Duffy Boy who recently signed up. If you want your name featured here, just sign up using the link in the description. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like for me, make sure you subscribe for more episodes and hit the thumbnail in the middle to watch another FC25 video.